After the incredible clash between Goku and Nolan, the two agreed to train Mark together with the Guardians of the Globe for the upcoming fight against the Viltrumites. When the group of heroes found out about the plan, they didn't like the idea of working alongside Omni-Man after everything he'd done on Earth, but they were aware they had no other option, since the damage would be far worse if they did nothing about it. In this way, during the following weeks, Goku and Nolan began preparing them to fight, subjecting them to intense training, with Goku properly teaching them the art of combat, and not just how to attack with brute force. The first few days were quite rough, because Nolan was rather strict and sent the team running kilometers to test their endurance, in addition to forcing them to carry weight under altered gravity conditions and demanding more physical training against simulated ambushes. The team complained, and some even thought it was too much for them, but Goku countered that heavy workload with something more valuable: teaching combat technique and using the rest period so they could fight with all their energy. Watch your feet closely. When you get too close, you lose mobility in combat. Kate, when you clone yourself, keep one of your versions in the rear to anticipate a counterattack. It's more practical than just throwing them all into the fight. Understood. I'll try. Very well, then let's continue. Little by little, the heroes began to notice that Goku didn't treat them like simple soldiers. He treated them as equals, and also as future fighters. Each day, Goku devoted time to every hero to correct their techniques, showing them how to read the intent in an enemy's eyes and how to control the ki in their bodies. Although only rudimentarily, since only Mark could begin to feel it clearly. Invincible, for his part, showed incredible progress. His father's combat experience, combined with Goku's dedication, turned him into an exceptional student. Day after day, his speed increased and his reflexes improved along with his fighting style, which went from impulsive to ever more refined. During breaks, the Saiyans sat with the rest of the team and ate enthusiastically, giving them small tips for their training. What Nolan molded with rigor, Goku refined with enthusiasm in every session, helping the others to understand something beyond brute strength: intuition, and reading the enemy's movements. Despite how different the Guardians of the Globe were, one could see that they were now operated as a real team thanks to their daily training. They learned to cover each other, to swap roles, and to read patterns. But, most important, they began to trust Nolan a little thanks to Goku's teaching and company. Yet among all the members of the team, there was one who did not agree at all with Nolan's presence, none other than Immortal. Nolan's presence remained a thorn in Immortal's side. He had never forgotten the massacre of the former Guardians of the Globe. One afternoon, while the rest of the team trained in silence, Immortal approached the training ground where Mark and Nolan were sparring. With fists clenched in anger and a furrowed brow, Immortal addressed Nolan in a voice laden with contempt. "I don't understand how everyone accepts this. You're the monster who killed such valuable people, and now you're here as a mentor?" Nolan stopped what he was doing and gave Immortal his attention, but not defiantly. "Immortal, I know I made mistakes, and I'll pay for them for the rest of my life. But if I can prevent the Viltrumites from destroying this world, I will, even if you never forgive me." "I don't care about your redemption. I'm just waiting for the day you fail so I can finish you." "Immortal, right now you shouldn't train for revenge, but to protect. Because if the Viltrumites show up and you're not ready because you're chained to the past, you won't help anyone." Immortal said nothing in response. He just turned around, but he was determined to train harder than ever. The situation was more complicated than it seemed, so none of those present said anything else about it. From his command center, Cecil watched everything on split screens, analyzing the team's physical progress, combat patterns, and emotional reactions. "I never thought I'd say this, but Goku is achieving more in weeks than we achieved in months. Despite his strange and childlike behavior, what he does works. And Nolan is holding up his end. Maybe what they needed wasn't a stronger weapon, but a bigger cause. The problem is the Viltrumites won't wait. When they come, they won't hesitate to attack, so we shouldn't hesitate either. I just hope Immortal doesn't dwell on his conflict with Nolan until all this is over." Several weeks later, the entire group of heroes finished their preliminary training and gathered on the main field. Suits marked by workouts, some bandages, sweat on their foreheads, but also smiles of satisfaction. Goku and Nolan stood at the front, both watching the team they had forged. Cecil approached, and for the first time in a long while, without his usual aura of an implacable boss. I've seen heroes and I've also seen failures, but what I see now in front of me is a team capable of defending Earth like never before. The Guardians of the Globe, Bulletproof, Kate, Black Samson, Shrinking Ray, Monster Girl, and even Immortal listened in silence. Mark looked at Goku and Nolan with a mix of respect and admiration. Omni-Man, or should I say Nolan, I can't forget what you did. No one here can. But I also recognize what you're doing now, and although that doesn't erase your past, it can influence our future. Nolan lowered his gaze slightly and only nodded humbly. And you, Goku, I don't know if you're a gift of fate, a cosmic accident, or just someone who ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time, but what's certain is that thanks to you, this team is now stronger, more united, and more prepared. Goku scratched the back of his neck, a bit embarrassed. Thanks! The truth is, I just helped them see their own power. I only showed them how to notice it. I want you to keep training them the way you have. When the war comes, this planet won't surrender. Not with these fighters on our side. And if the Viltrumites touch this world, there will be no mercy. There won't be. For anyone. The whole group nodded seriously. Let them come! This time we won't fight alone! That's the spirit, Mark! Now, how about tomorrow we eat whatever we want? Nothing like a good meal to keep our spirits high. The Guardians looked at each other, laughing, tired but cheerful, allowing themselves a moment of relief after Goku's words. Even Immortal, who until then had maintained a scowl, let out a slight exhale of relief. If the food's on you, I'm in.
Same here. It's the least we deserve after all this training.
That'll be tough. I don't have any money, but I'm sure Cecil can pay.
Are you joking, or do you really have nothing?
You'd be surprised, but it's the truth. The group burst into laughter, while Nolan, more reserved, smiled discreetly, seeing how his new companions began to open up. I never thought I'd see this again. Everyone working together like this, like a real team.
Well, now there's a bigger reason for everyone to be like this.
But respect makes that bond worth more, and you're starting to earn it. Nolan nodded silently, accepting the truth of those words. Mark, for his part, watched the scene with a smile that mixed relief and hope, because for the first time he felt they were truly moving forward.
I had my doubts at first, but it seems you know interesting people, Mark. Things have turned out pretty well.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised too. Goku's a unique being, and he's helped me become stronger than I ever imagined. It seemed everything was calm and everyone felt comfortable. That pleased Mark and Eve. But then an alarm blared from the room's communication devices. Cecil's tech team contacted him quickly and informed him of the situation so he could also inform the heroes. So he switched to his more serious tone and addressed the others. We have a problem. We've detected a ship entering Earth's atmosphere. The energy signature isn't Viltrumite. Then what is it? At first they thought it was Viltrumites, but our scanners picked up a biological signal. Too many signals, actually. Hundreds, and all in sync. It can't be. Are those things back? Exactly, Mark. It matches sequid biology.
Sequids? Weren't those the parasites from Mars?
Yes, the same ones that form a collective mind by controlling a host. And unfortunately, one of those hosts is a NASA astronaut. The same one Shapesmith replaced to infiltrate Earth.
What? You already knew I was a shape-shifting alien?
Of course I did. I wasn't going to recruit someone to my team without investigating first. So you'll take responsibility for what you did with that astronaut, and you'll guide us inside that ship I know you're familiar with. Shapesmith fell silent at Cecil's words. He had no choice but to help after the damage he'd caused.
You're saying one of ours left an alien plague on Mars and now they're coming to Earth?
Exactly, which means we can't let that ship reach the surface. If the Sequids reach an ecosystem as populated as this planet, it'll be war, and not one we can easily win. We can't let that happen. The infection is fast and silent.
So we're going to space?
Correct. We have a ship ready to intercept them before they enter orbit. I need you, Goku, along with Mark, Nolan, and 2 more Guardians to board immediately. We can't take risks.
I'll go.
And I will. If there's an invasion to stop, I'm not staying behind.
Guess I don't have a choice.
Perfect. The ship takes off in 20 minutes from the outside platform. They're already loading the pressure suits and the boost system. Just try not to destroy the ship.
I'll do my best.
Sir, what do we do if they fail? We're not going to fail. Not with them on the team.